A two-way ANOVA is like a one-way ANOVA, an hypothesis-based test. However, here we have another variable. Let's say we have 5 stores and we have 3 periods: morning, afternoon and night. The values in the table are the average number of people in each store and in each period. So let's say each column represents the 5 stores from A to E, and each row represents morning, afternoon and night. The values represent the average people number in each store during each period. Step 1. Add the marginals to the table and find the averages. Confirm if you are correct with the cross value, total average. Step 2. Find total sum of squares, factor A and factor B. Same as before. Total sum of squares is sum of squares minus n times the total average squared. Factor A is number of columns times the square difference in the marginal rows, top to bottom. Factor B is number of rows times the square difference in the marginal columns, left to right. Step 3, just like before, is filling in the table. We start with the degrees of freedom, so it's always -1. We do that for factor A and factor B, and the total. And the residual is the difference. Let's move on to the SS column. A is 680.93, so mean squared, you divide by the number and you get 340.47. Same thing for B. Residual is the difference between the total and factor A and B. So F for factor A is 6.43 and F for factor B is 3.57. These are your critical values, the cutoff points between the null hypothesis and the test hypothesis. So same as before, we go to the F table, find the one with 5%, and for factor A, look for 2 and 8 degrees of freedom. You'll find 4.459. Since our test statistic is in the H1 region, we reject the null hypothesis and state that there is evidence for a difference in the time spent in each store. For factor B, same as before, go to the F table, find the one with 5% for factor A, look for 48DF. You'll find 3.838. Since our test statistic is in the null region, we reject the H1 hypothesis and state that there is no evidence for a difference in the time of the day spent in each store.